Most people fail, not because they're not capable, but because they never develop the mindset to win. They start with excitement, but quit when it gets hard. They dream big, but never take real action. They want success, but they refuse to pay the price. Now here's the truth. Life will test you. You will face obstacles. You will experience failure. But the real question is, will you control your mind, or will your mind control you? If you want to be successful, you must develop a mindset that is stronger than your excuses, more powerful than your fears, and more disciplined than your distractions. Because when your mind is strong, success is inevitable. Today I'm going to show you how to build that kind of mindset. The mindset that creates wealth, freedom, and an extraordinary life. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your biggest liability. It will either push you forward or hold you back. It will either find solutions or make excuses. And the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. They have trained their minds to work for them, not against them. Let me tell you, success doesn't happen by chance. It's not luck, and it's not magic. It's the result of deliberate, daily actions that compound over time. And one of the most powerful tools you have to shape your future is reflection. Taking time each day to review your progress, assess your decisions, and make adjustments is what separates those who drift through life from those who take control of it. If you're not reflecting, you're not learning. And if you're not learning, you're not growing. So let's start with this. Take 10 minutes at the end of your day and ask yourself a few simple questions. What worked today? What didn't? What could I have done better? See, self-awareness is the foundation of self-improvement. If you don't stop to analyze your actions, how will you ever refine them? A life without reflection is like driving with a foggy windshield. You might be moving, but you have no idea if you're headed in the right direction. Now, let's talk about journaling. Keeping a record of your progress is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. Why? Because success is a process, not an event. And the only way to see how far you've come is to document it. You write down your thoughts, your wins, your struggles, everything. Over time, you'll start seeing patterns. Maybe you notice that every time you wake up late, your productivity crashes. Or maybe you realize that the days you read for 30 minutes, your mindset is sharper. This is how you gain insight into yourself. This is how you make corrections before the problems get bigger. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're trying to build wealth. You set a financial goal. Maybe you want to save $10,000 this year or invest in your first property. If you don't track your progress, if you don't reflect on your spending habits, how will you know if you're on the right path? Maybe you think you're disciplined with money, but when you look at your journal, you see that you've been eating out 5 times a week. That's not a budgeting problem. That's a reflection problem. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. And let's talk about success. It's not one big event. It's a series of well-managed days. You don't become wealthy overnight. You don't become successful overnight. You get there by stacking one strong, productive, intentional day on top of another. It's like building a house, one brick at a time. But if you're not stopping to check your progress, you might wake up one day and realize you built the wrong house. That's why consistency and reflection is so powerful. It keeps you on course. It allows you to catch mistakes early before they become failures. It helps you recognize opportunities that you might have overlooked. And most importantly, it builds discipline. Because when you get into the habit of reflecting, you develop a mindset of constant improvement. And that mindset, my friends, is what leads to financial success. You see, the mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why top athletes visualize their victories before they step onto the field. That's why the most successful entrepreneurs see themselves closing deals long before they happen. It's not wishful thinking. It's programming your mind for success. When you do this, you start to act differently. You carry yourself with more confidence. You notice opportunities you might have ignored before. You develop the persistence to push through obstacles because in your mind, success is already a reality. Now, let's talk about a practical example. Imagine 2 salespeople. One wakes up every morning dreading the day, thinking, what if I get rejected? What if I don't hit my target? The other wakes up and visualizes themselves closing deals, shaking hands, celebrating their wins. Who do you think will perform better? the one who already sees success before it happens. Their actions will reflect their beliefs. They'll speak with confidence, approach customers with energy, and keep going even after hearing a no. Visualization is not a substitute for action, but it fuels action. It keeps you motivated when challenges arise. When you see the end goal so clearly, setbacks become temporary. You don't quit because you've already felt the victory in your mind. That's why so many of the world's most successful people use this technique. Olympic athletes see themselves crossing the finish line first. CEOs see themselves leading thriving companies. Even great musicians visualize themselves performing in front of thousands. If they do it, so should you. Your words have power. What you say to yourself every day shapes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be successful, guess what? Your mind starts to believe it, and your actions will reflect it. But if you speak confidence, discipline, and success into your life, your mindset shifts, and your actions follow. Affirmations are not just words. They are commands to your subconscious mind. When you say, I am disciplined, I am focused, I am unstoppable, you are reinforcing the kind of person you are becoming. And here's the key. You don't say it once and forget about it. You say it every single day until it becomes part of you. Successful people understand this. They don't wait for confidence to come naturally. They create it with their words. Muhammad Ali used to say, I am the greatest, long before the world saw him as the greatest. He said it so many times that he believed it, and so did everyone else. His words shaped his reality. Now here's a practical way to use affirmations. Take a journal and write down the qualities you want to strengthen. Do you want more discipline? Write, I am disciplined. I take action every day. Do you want financial success? Write, I am a wealth creator. I attract opportunities that lead to prosperity. Say these affirmations out loud every morning. Look in the mirror and declare them with confidence. But it doesn't stop there. You must align your actions with your words. If you say, I am disciplined, but you hit snooze 5 times, your subconscious knows you're lying. So when you speak it, act on it. If you say, I am wealthy, start making financial decisions that lead to wealth. Invest, save, and create value. You see, affirmations are not magic words. They are a tool to reprogram your mind. They take the negative beliefs you've carried for years and replace them with empowering ones. And when your beliefs change, your life changes. Life will always test you. It will throw challenges your way, obstacles that seem impossible, and moments where you feel like quitting. But here's the truth. Every setback carries the seed of an opportunity if you choose to see it. Most people, when faced with failure, ask, why me? They dwell on the struggle and let it defeat them. But successful people ask, what's the lesson here? How can I grow from this? That one shift in thinking separates those who win from those who give up. Take Thomas Edison. When asked about his thousands of failed attempts before inventing the light bulb, he simply said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Now, that's a mindset of success. He understood that failure wasn't a dead end. It was part of the process. Think about your own challenges. Maybe you started a business and it didn't work out. Maybe you made an investment that failed. Maybe you put in effort, but the results didn't come as fast as you expected. So what do? Do you let it break you, or do you reframe it? The key is to look at setbacks as stepping stones. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned something valuable. Instead of saying, this didn't work, say, now I know a better way. Every great success story is built on failures that turned into lessons. Here's something practical. The next time you face a setback, write down 3 things you can learn from it. Ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? This simple exercise rewires your brain to see obstacles as opportunities. And remember this, the most successful people have failed the most. Why? Because they never stopped trying. They took every setback, every rejection, every failure, and used it to get better. So when life challenges you, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Because once you master this mindset, nothing can stop you. Most people wake up every day and let the world decide how their time will be spent. They react to emails, messages, and distractions, never taking control of their own agenda. But successful people, they don't live by reaction, they live by intention. They decide in advance what truly matters and focus only on that. Every morning, before the world has a chance to pull you in 100 different directions, take a moment to write down your top 3 priorities, not 10, not 20, just 3. Because if you try to do everything, you'll accomplish nothing. But if you focus on what truly moves you forward, you'll make measurable progress every single day. Now let's talk about the trap that keeps most people from success. It's not a lack of effort. It's misplaced effort. They spend their time on things that feel urgent but aren't important. Answering every message, checking every notification, attending meetings that don't matter. And at the end of the day, they're exhausted but have accomplished nothing. Successful people focus on what I call income-producing, growth-driven actions. They know that their time is their most valuable resource, and they protect it fiercely. If an activity doesn't bring them closer to their financial or personal goals, they don't waste time on it. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 people in sales. One spends the whole day organizing their desk, checking emails and tweaking their website. The other spends their time calling prospects, building relationships, and closing deals. Who do you think will succeed? The one who focused on income-producing activities. And here's another trap to avoid: being busy but not productive. Just because you're doing a lot doesn't mean you're doing what matters. The question is not, am I working hard? The question is, am I working on the right things? Here's a simple strategy. Before you start your day, ask yourself, if I could only accomplish 3 things today, what would they be? Then, focus on those and block out everything else. Don't let distractions steal your future. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. So set clear priorities, eliminate the noise, and watch how fast your life changes. Motivation is good. It gets you started. But discipline, that's what keeps you in the game. That's what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It just shows up and does the work. Here's the secret. You don't have to feel like doing something to do it. You don't have to be in the mood to take action. You just have to decide. Successful people don't ask themselves, do I feel like working today? They just work. They don't ask, do I feel like making these calls? They just pick up the phone. A great way to build discipline is to commit to a daily habit of showing up, whether you feel like it or not, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Because action creates momentum, and momentum makes things easier. The hardest part is getting started. Once you do, everything else becomes natural. Here's a real example. A struggling entrepreneur once asked, how do I stay committed when I don't feel motivated? The answer was simple. Create a system. Instead of relying on motivation, schedule your success. Set a time every day for the work that matters. No excuses, no negotiation, just do it. And remember this. Success isn't about getting fired up once. It's about showing up every day. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who feel the most motivated. They're the ones who stay consistent, even when it's hard. Because discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons, and you never want to live with the weight of regret. Most people let problems consume their minds. They focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what they don't have. But here's the secret. What you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, you'll find more lack. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. But if you focus on gratitude, something powerful happens. You rewire your mind for resilience and strength. Life is full of setbacks. Business slows down, relationships get tested, and plans don't always work out. But instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I be grateful for in this moment? That shift in thinking changes everything. Because gratitude isn't about ignoring challenges. It's about training your mind to find solutions instead of staying stuck in problems. Successful people understand this. They don't just practice gratitude when things are going well. They practice it when things are falling apart. When a deal falls through, they say, I'm grateful for the lesson. When they lose money, they say, I'm grateful for the experience. That's what makes them strong. That's what keeps them moving forward. Here's a simple way to start. Every morning, before the chaos of the day begins, take a moment and write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. It could be your health, the opportunities ahead, or even just the fact that you're alive and breathing. Because when you start the day with gratitude, you train your mind to see abundance instead of scarcity. And gratitude doesn't just make you feel good, it makes you stronger. A business owner once told me I started listing 3 things I was grateful for every morning, and within months my attitude changed. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by problems, I started seeing opportunities. That's the power of gratitude. It shifts your focus, it builds resilience, and it makes you unstoppable. One of the greatest dangers is overthinking. The mind can be a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. If you let it, it will talk you out of every opportunity. It will come up with 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't start, why you're not ready, why you might fail. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Fear grows in stillness. The only way to silence the doubt is to move. Action cures fear. I knew a man who wanted to start a business. Every time we talked, he told me about his ideas. But weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. He kept saying, I just need to do a little more research. But research became a trap. He was waiting for certainty, for a guarantee that everything would work out. But life doesn't offer guarantees, only opportunities. The people who succeed aren't the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who step forward even when they don't know everything. They take the first step, then adjust as they go. And with each step, they gain confidence. That's how momentum is built. That's how progress is made. Here's the key. The first step doesn't have to be big. It just has to be now. Want to start a business? Make the first sale. Want to write a book? Write the first sentence. Want to get in shape? Do the first workout. The moment you take action, everything changes. It shifts your mindset from hesitation to movement. So stop waiting for the perfect time. There isn't one. Stop overthinking. Doubt will only grow the longer you sit still. Start now, adjust as you go, and trust that motion creates momentum. Because once you get moving, you'll realize that success isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about having the courage to take the first one. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. Plant seeds of negativity, doubt, and fear, and you'll harvest a life of frustration and failure. But plant seeds of discipline, knowledge, and belief, and you'll reap a life of success and abundance. The challenge is this. Every day the world is trying to plant weeds in your garden. It's up to you to stand guard. Negativity is everywhere. It comes from the news, social media, toxic conversations, and even well-meaning friends and family who tell you to be realistic. When you share your goals, if you let that negativity take root, it will weaken your mindset. It will make you second-guess yourself. It will distract you from your vision. I knew a young man who was excited about his future. He had big dreams, big plans, but every time he shared them, someone was there to shoot him down. That's too risky. What if you fail? People like us don't succeed at that. Slowly, he started believing them. His energy dropped, his confidence faded, and eventually he gave up. Not because he wasn't capable, but because he let the wrong voices influence his mind. Here's the truth. If you want to stay focused and succeed, you must protect your mind. That means cutting out toxic influences. It means being selective about the people you spend time with. If someone constantly complains, criticizes, or doubts, limit your exposure. You don't have to be rude, just be intentional. But protecting your mind isn't just about avoiding the negative, it's about feeding it the positive. Read books that challenge and inspire you. Listen to mentors who push you to think bigger. Surround yourself with people who believe in success and take action, because what you allow into your mind will shape your future. One of the greatest lessons in success is this. You become what you consistently hear and see. If you surround yourself with negativity, you'll adopt a negative mindset. But if you surround yourself with growth, possibility, and wisdom, you'll develop a strong mindset for success. So stand guard at the door of your mind. Be intentional about what you allow in, because the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your life. Life has a way of testing you. Just when you think you're making progress, obstacles appear. Just when you start to build momentum, something happens to slow you down. That's when most people stop. That's when they say, maybe this isn't for me. But success belongs to the ones who refuse to quit. It belongs to the ones who keep moving forward, no matter what. There was a man who started a business. He had the right idea, the right passion, but after a few months, things weren't going as planned. Sales were low, expenses were high, and he started to doubt himself. One night he sat at his desk, staring at his bills, and thought, maybe I should just quit. But then he asked himself, what if I just keep going? What if I push a little harder, try a little longer? He made a decision that night, not to quit, but to adjust, to learn, and to keep moving forward. A few months later, that same business turned around. Most people stop at the first sign of difficulty. They say it's too hard. But winners understand that hard is part of the journey. Every challenge you overcome makes you stronger. Every setback you push through builds your character. That's why you have to make up your mind in advance. Quitting is not an option. There will be times when you feel tired, discouraged, or frustrated. There will be moments when nothing seems to be working. That's when you have to remind yourself there is always a way. Maybe you need to try a different approach. Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need to reach out to the right mentor. But there is always a way forward. Success doesn't go to the fastest or the luckiest. It goes to the ones who stay in the game, the ones who keep knocking until the door opens, the ones who push past obstacles instead of running from them, the ones who don't stop when they're tired but when they've won. So make the decision today. No matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. No matter how many setbacks come your way, you will keep pushing, because if you refuse to quit, success is only a matter of time. We've covered a lot today. We've talked about the power of daily reflection, the importance of visualization, and the discipline of affirmations. We've learned how to turn setbacks into stepping stones, how to set clear priorities, and how to stay committed even when motivation fades. We've talked about gratitude, taking action, protecting your mind from negativity, and the relentless spirit needed to keep moving forward no matter what. Now the question is, what will you do with this information? Because here's the truth. Knowledge is not enough. Ideas are not enough. Inspiration is not enough. What matters is what you do next. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people take action. They don't just listen, they apply. They don't just hope, they do. They don't wait for the perfect time, they start now. Yes, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out, but you do have to take the first step. Maybe for you, it's setting aside 10 minutes tonight to reflect on your day. Maybe it's writing down your affirmations and speaking them with conviction. Maybe it's cutting out the distractions that are stealing your time. Whatever it is, take that step today. Because here's what I know, the next 6 months, the next year, the next 5 years are going to pass no matter what. The question is, will you be in the same place you are today? Or will you look back and say, I made progress, I got stronger, I developed the mindset for success? The road to success isn't always easy, but it's worth it. The discipline, the sacrifices, the persistence, it all pays off. And if you stay on this path, one day you'll wake up and realize you've become the person who attracts success instead of chasing it.